Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com, and in this video we're looking at an extension to the 2022 release from Citizen, the Tsyuosa, with some different dial colors. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com, as an authorized dealer. So in this video, deep dive on these timepieces, final points of consideration at the end, but also throughout the video, if you're interested in these watches, have some questions, check out the link in the description down below to the product pages. Without further ado, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. A couple years ago, Citizen recently scored a huge hit with the release of their integrated style Tsyuosa, a solid performer in a great size that took some stylistic cues from watches like the Rolex Oyster Quartz. But the twist with the story here comes that these watches are much more attainable and still look great for the money. The Tsyuosas offer great wearability for a wide range of wrists, coming in with a 40mm case and an aesthetic that bridges the gap between dress and sports, offering a ton of versatility and coordinating with different looks. In the last year, we have seen some new releases from the brand within this line, including also the small seconds versions, which are a little higher up market, and we have a full review on the main channel if you are interested in taking a look at those. But today we're looking at the traditional three-hand models with two new dial colors that we're going to be showcasing, an orange dial and then a gradient blue. Now, as mentioned, the dimensions here live in a nice sweet spot for a broad range of wrist sizes. The short perceived lug to lug means that the 40mm diameter shouldn't scare off anyone with a smaller wrist, and that is something that's a bit different compared to a lot of integrated style watches where the bracelet is not going to be as forgiving and will add to the theoretical lug to lug. When measuring at that lug to lug point, you're getting 45mm, and then with the thickness 11.8mm. Looking at the case more specifically, it does feature an attractive mix of brushing and polished surfaces, with the vertical brushing on the top contrasting nicely with the polished bezel. The water resistance is slightly behind the competition at a mildly underwhelming 50 meters, although that is going to be more than enough for many people. I think most in this genre are expecting 100 meters of water resistance. The crown is of the push-pull variety, sitting at 4, and is semi-recessed for a clean look that hugs the case profile. One point I will bring up when looking at the crown is that it is a little bit harder to get a hold of compared to some of the other models within this family. Another interesting point is that the small seconds version of the Tsyuosas do have a larger crown. It's a bit easier to get a hold of. Citizen goes with a sapphire crystal, with this one also featuring a cyclops over the date window. A sapphire crystal here is going to be well received, given that many within this segment might default to mineral crystals. And then in terms of the magnification of the cyclops, it does help with the visibility of that date, but I know some people love it while others find it to be an eyesore. The bracelet has a simple yet classic design that is going to recall some of the stylistic cues from the day date. This is a result of its 3-link design, bringing presidential vibes for days. The watch does come together at a stamped clasp, which does fall behind the rest of the feel of the presentation, but it does offer 3 points of micro adjustment and is going to also have some smaller links, so getting a perfect fit shouldn't be too difficult. That said, there now is a smaller selection of leather straps you can also now swap in. One of the main reasons the Tsyuosa was such a hot ticket is the range of dial options available. Citizen leaned into trending colors like light blue and yellow with a vengeance, and they've wisely continued this with new releases such as the orange and gradient blue that we have here today. The Sunray Orange is very expressive in its colorway and is going to look great on a hot summer day, has mild sunburst effect to it, and then shifting to the gradient blue offers a fantastic retro feel with its sunray finish, shifting from turquoise to nearly black. Otherwise, the rest of the dial details are largely unchanged from previous models. The raised rectangular indices are outlined in silver with a shape that almost matches the Oyster Perpetual 1-for-1. Resting beneath that cyclops is a simple date window at 3 o'clock. And at center, some simple hands with lume present on them to match the indices, which I wouldn't say is going to be world-beating in its illumination, but still are there enough to do the job where it's required, so this still fits the genre of this integrated steel sports. Now, shifting over to the movement on the inside, we can see it through the exhibition case back, and featured here we have the Miyota 8210. For those not familiar, Miyota is the movement manufacturing arm for the Citizen Watch Group, being one of, if not the largest producer of mechanical calibers in the entire world by volume. Given the scale, their movements are not meant to wow with their sophisticated finishing. Instead, they really are byproducts of an industrialized process that optimizes durability and dependability. And for this caliber on the inside, you're getting a very similar plot. It features 21 joules, a gold-colored rotor and bridges, a 42-hour power reserve, and a rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour or 3 hertz. In addition, it is going to be quoted out of the factory at -20 to +40 seconds a day for these calibers. Out of the box, Citizen typically is going to outperform that range of accuracy by a solid margin. These also were running around +10 to +15 seconds a day on average when running across 5 different positions with the tests. Further, these are going to be calibers that are going to feature hacking and hand winding. Again, hacking, stopping the seconds hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position is a nice added benefit that sometimes is not always included in some of these entry-level Miyota calibers. So now to unpack looking at these new Citizen Tsyuosa models, these new dial colors. We'll start with some of the cons and then we'll shift to some of the pros. General points that I've brought up in the past about these watches I think remain here. Water resistance might fall behind the competition. The lume is not the greatest compared to what Citizen typically does, which is nothing short of extraordinary in this department. And then further, the bracelet is going to fall behind some of the integrated steel sports watches that are seated right above it in terms of the price category, specifically the PRX. I find that bracelet to be much more premium than this one. But then we shift into some of the pros, and it's not going to necessarily just be because these watches are crazy unique. They definitely have this more inspired type of approach across the board. But for the money, from the case finish, from the looks on the dials, to also just getting into this genre of watch of the integrated steel sports, this is probably the entry door of recommendation from a major brand that I would say that enthusiasts should consider. You have wearable dimensions, reliable movements that are going to be robust and continue to run. And with the release of these 2 new dial colors, you're getting the vibrant presentation of the eye-catching color, now fused with the value for money that you're getting since the Tsyuosas were released back in 2022. All right, guys, well, that's all we have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. That really does help us out, and I do appreciate it as well. Also, if you are in the market for this watch, we do have it available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. TeddyBaldassarre.com is an authorized dealer of over 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. In addition, how we're able to fund all of our production on our main channel as well as here is through selling watches. So if you are in the market for a watch, we'd love to have your business. We know you can buy a watch in a lot of different places nowadays, but it allows us to keep doing what we're doing here. We love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.